Bro, did you notice? I've recently peeped that they do the crucial catch thingy now instead of the breast cancer for October. I'm like, okay, I guess all cancer matters.
Oh, here we go, boys. We are live. We are about to break down NFL Week 5, the recap. I know this is a little bit late. Hurricane Milton came through. If y'all don't know, we're a Florida-based podcast, so Hurricane Milton kind of pushed some things around, but we are definitely back for another episode. Week 5 recap and special Thursday Night Football recap. 49ers putting that thing on them Seahawks, but that'll be more towards the end of the episode, so
Man,
stay tuned for that. I'm Paul Pickle Winham Concha. I'm joined with
you already know, man. It's your boy Kev, Water Boy Savoy, aka the Don PYE. And I ain't even gonna lie to you, man. We definitely praying for everybody that faced any damages or anything from Hurricane Milton because that shit came through. I'm not gonna lie to you. Over here in Gainesville, we were kind of smooth. Hurricane Helene did a little bit more worse than Hurricane Milton. But Tampa, there's different parts that are fucked up. Like the whole old hood is underwater right now.
there's
Like
still, I'm gonna
I'm
say
a,
there's still sections without power right now. Like
mm. There's like 600,000 people without power, and there's like 5,000 workers or something like that. And then but did you see? Have you seen Fowler? Like it is underwater right
yeah, I saw people canoeing down Fowler. Saw someone canoeing in you Copperfield. Ian was showing me down because Ian still lives down that street. Like Copperfield is all flooded. Like you canoe, fucking hold the whole 9 yards. Fucking Sefner, like the surrounding areas got hit a little bit worse because they didn't get hit worse because they of like the storm, but the impact's a little worse because they're not as prepared as places that get hit with storms a lot. So they don't have power. Like their grids, all types of fucked up debris everywhere. People moving from inland to my crib. You know anything about my crib? I'm right next to the water just because we got power back right now. Thank God.
now. But yeah, so yeah, we definitely praying that everything gets handled. But my mom and them, they said they were straight. My mom, she was at work and she said they lost power at her job. But by the end of the day, they got everything figured out. But so yeah, for football,
Thing that bring us all together because I know when Thursday I came back to my crib at Thursday had no power, but I saw as I was driving in motherfuckers sitting in their car with their phone on the dash playing, and I was like, I know what they watching right now. I know
know what you watching, and you got that bit charging. What?
we gotta save that. We gotta go through the whole NFL Week 5 recap first, which was a banger.
Now, NFL Week 5 is definitely the best week. The first, so I think Thursday definitely set the tone for show because you had such a great, spectacular win by my Falcons in overtime. And then we go across the pond to London. It's not a fire ass game, but it definitely had the moment to get crucial. There was definitely some heat and pressure at crunch time. So that was good. And then 1 o'clock was just nothing but bangers. You had the Bengals and the Ravens. You had the Jags versus the fucking Joe Flacco led Colts. You had the Bears beat their ass. You had the Bills and the Texans. But like there was just so much like competition at 1 o'clock. And it was just like, oh, it's just gonna be one of those weeks. So many spectacular plays early.
Yeah, two overtime games in the same week. I know it wasn't the same day, but two overtime games in the same week. I don't think we had overtime at all throughout the first 4 weeks. I don't think there was a single.
Nah. There had to have been a little bit of overtime, just a little
Oh,
bit.
there was one overtime game week 1 and one overtime week 2, but that was it. Nothing week 4, nothing week 3.
Yeah. So like we could talk game of the week, Bengals, Ravens. We could talk Joe Flacco coming back to life because he just don't die. But the Jags figuring out a way to fucking get it done. We could talk Jaden Daniels and the Commanders just continue to steamroll. We could talk about how the Bears are looking better. We could talk how the Bills have no time management.
You want to
Like,
start? I don't really care. I don't care where we start this one from.
so you got to go across the pond because we got to talk about my man.
Early in the morning, Vikings getting the dub over the Jets, 23-17. Vikings move to 5-0. Jets moving to 2-3. And moving on with a new head coach, which is going to tie in into this game as well.
So I'll talk about the coach Robert Sala in a second. That's my dog. I wasn't you know how I felt about dog. I felt like he could coach the defense. But this game was interesting because it wasn't supposed to be interesting. I felt like the Vikings got to an early lead, and you're thinking like, okay, they got the job done. Like, all right, let's go eat some tea and crumpets. Like, what the fuck's going on? And the Jets defense started making Sam Donald look human again. And then when they started making him look human, they were able to kind of like I don't want to say got like find like they kind of crawled their way back into the lead and make it back into this game and made it a game, but they just couldn't get it done because my dog, the genius, he might be a genius, but he looking cooked.
Yeah, Aaron. I mean, you can put a lot of blame a lot of places, but you got to put it on the three interceptions. Even he said it in the post game conference about how yeah, like you don't win games when you have three turnovers. Like that's not, and he did add a little flair to it, saying that's not normal of him type of vibe, but and that won't happen a lot. But yeah, like three, you're not throwing three and one being a pick six, you're not winning it. But
I
there was
know
also another crucial play where like Sauce had a pick in the end zone, which would have been like a complete game changer. Like the Vikings don't
facts.
get score, it's still a tie game, but they just didn't get that break, and that's what football is all about. Sometimes you get those breaks, and you're riding home a dub at the end of the day, and sometimes you don't get those breaks, and that's exactly what kind of happened here. And I mean, three interceptions. Defense going to do so much to make up for it. You came back. The third one was a really the third one was what to me was really bad because like it was a one on one with Mike Williams, and he's been throwing that ball really good all year with the jump ball to Mike Williams, Alan Lazard. But with that one, he literally threw it like 5, 6 yards short. DB turns around, oh, like right in my fucking like lap. I just got to stop for it, and like game sealed.
Facts. Yeah, that was when they was like, yeah, Aaron Rodgers cooked. Yeah, but
Washed. Chats are
I
going crazy.
would. I'm mad I didn't watch the Pat McAfee Aaron Rodgers on Wednesday because they didn't have it on Tuesday. They had an Aaron Rodgers Wednesday this week. But fun fact, Aaron Rodgers has thrown 5 pick sixes his entire career, and 2 of them were this season. Like
Ooh,
it's not looking good right now. The cooked allegations is not he not beating
they're
allegations right
holding
now.
up right now.
Yeah,
Like,
you feel me? But you could also blame it on his O line. I don't think they blocked amazingly. But one thing I did like from this offense was them utilizing Garrett Wilson because that's what made me so mad when they were coming back. I was like, damn, this is exactly what Paul fucking said. He said that him and Garrett Wilson were gonna figure this shit out, and this is what's gonna come back to bite me in the ass. But the Vikings defense was able to motherfucking bend but not break and pull off the dub. Shout out Kevin O'Connell and them boys. I just think after this game, this is proof that teams are gonna start coming playing the Vikings and they're just gonna be like, oh, you want to throw with Sam Darnold? Okay. Okay.
well,
Like,
the Garrett Wilson thing, I think one of the other issues is like 23 targets to Garrett Wilson is absolutely insane. Like, yeah,
oh,
like
I didn't know 23. God damn.
yeah, like it was 23 13 catches is good, but 23 targets, 101 yards.
Sheesh.
Like, so you threw 23 of your passes and you accumulated 101 yards out of it. And who knows how many interceptions was on the target to Garrett Wilson. Um, and it's like
The
every game has kind of been like that, in my opinion, where it's like you're not getting like it's not real chemistry there. It's like a force fed chemistry that you're trying to make be there, and it's not there. Like he looked like it's like Alan Lazard can get 4 targets, 5 targets, and have a similar stat line to Garrett Wilson because the chemistry is actually there.
yeah, I will say niggas were missing all around. The 23 is insane, but everybody else had at least 3 to 5 misses.
Yeah, well, it's still a long season. They're not out of it. They're 2-3. And this division is not the strongest right now either. It's like the Bills,
Facts.
the Dolphins, we're all within a game of each other.
Yeah, I'm
So
about to say they're still number 2 or something like that.
yeah, so like they have the time. We said it in the preview of the season, like they're gonna get better along the way. It's just how they look in the first half of the season will determine if they're going to be in the playoffs. Because at the end of the season, we expect them to be better, but that also means Aaron Rodgers is looking better, and the running game is looking better, and the O line is looking better, and
Hmm.
the
So
receiving is all like in a chemistry together. Like they kind of have a lot of shit they got to fix. It looks like.
yeah, they definitely do that. And don't forget we bringing up all the interceptions, but we can't forget the fumble either. But this is where we got to transition, right? So Aaron Rodgers gets hurt on a play, and this is something that like you kind of don't want to buy into too much in the storylines and stuff like that. But it was crazy that once like niggas have shouted this out, then Robert Saleh got the boot because on that play where he got hurt, you don't see Robert Saleh and like Aaron Rodgers like even speak. Like it's kind of more like a he looks up, he talks to somebody, and then they kind of like turn his back. Don't pay too much attention and stuff like that. But that kind of spoke on to probably what like the issue was and why they got fired. It's not just a you guys are playing bad because I don't think you firing your coach fixes your O line. I don't think you firing your coach fixes the immediately fixes what's fucking up on offense. But there's that accountability thing that they keep talking about. Now, like the fucking ownership is showing that, hey, bro, y'all need a motherfucking play. And like that's what I kind of read from that. What is your take on Robert Saleh getting fired?
I, I agree with that last statement you said, where it was kind of like, hey, if we gave him the fucking boot, we'll give any one of y'all motherfuckers a boot, like type of vibe. Like we're setting the tone here. But I think it's a mix of like not mixed, but I think it's kind of like a kid comes home with a bad report card. Like Salah's the kid. He comes home with a bad report card to ownership, and he can say like Zach Wilson's the reason. Like Zach Wilson's the reason. Zach Wilson's the reason. I got a bad teacher. I got a bad teacher. And they finally get you the teacher you want, which is Aaron fucking Rodgers. And he still came back with a bad first 9 week report card, 2-3, and a lot of holes in the game. And at this point, I think it was kind of like we were we expected results and we didn't get results. So
Mm-hmm.
that
And
that
I and I can't get mad at it because like they're 2-3, but they could very much be like 4-1. Like you lost to a Broncos team that only threw 60 passing yards. You
if you're
lost to
two
a
and three and you're clicking, like if you're 2-3 and like the Bengals and your offense is putting up 30 a game, you can sit there and be like, okay, maybe we'll work with you. But yeah, you lost to what did you just say, Kev? A Broncos team with how many yards?
60 passing yards.
You're
Like
-6
what?
going in
I can't. I can't be mad at it. But I do like the fact that it wasn't like an Aaron. It was if immediately the media is gonna be Aaron Rodgers said to get rid of him. But then you got to look into the fact that like you kind of Aaron Rodgers can't just go in there and say fire the head coach, and then the person that calls my plays gets demoted, and like somebody else is calling the plays now. Like it sounds like this was a all right.
well,
Everybody needs to step in
the
line.
conspiracy with Rogers doing that is because the offensive coordinator is Hackett, and he loves Nathaniel Hackett. And maybe if he didn't like Saleh, that he would want Nathaniel Hackett to take over the head coaching job.
Mhm. But
I I
hockey isn't even calling plays anymore though.
oh no,
They said because the new coach isn't even calling the plays. Somebody else is calling the plays.
okay. Well,
That's why I don't
I
think it's an Aaron Rodgers thing.
I want to see exactly how this team responds because Saleh was a defensive coach, and if the defense truly, because I don't know, like there was always the rumors between Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers not being on the same page. He didn't come to training camps. How is that going to hit the locker room? Da 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 da. Aaron Rodgers does have like he's a personality. Like people know him from other things now. It rubs some people the right way, rubs some people the wrong way. Um, if if half the team was with Saleh and the other half of the team was like not for Saleh, like I just want to see how this team responds moving forward. Like, is this team like dead in the water? Like the defense is like, yo, y'all got rid of our boy. We're not gonna be like, we're not chirping like we used to, or is this team gonna come in like we weren't really fucking with? Because teams sometimes they didn't like the coach. That next game, they play really good because they wanted to show the world like,
Facts.
fuck that coach. We're like it's us versus, hey, you fired our guy. We're not gonna show up for this new guy. fuck this new guy. We want our old guy back type of.
Bro, the Raiders went to the playoffs after they fired fucking Gruden.
Yeah, like it, like that vibe, that shit really matters. So like, if this locker room is split, like, because if the defense was for someone and the offense was for somebody else, and then like that could be a bigger issue moving forward than just a couple X's and O's.
I think they play better. I think they played to the T that
They
we
have Monday
expected
night
them to play.
football, don't they? They're Monday night, I believe. So they have like a
All
whole
right.
week of like a yeah. They are Monday night football, so they have a whole week to get this shit together.
Say less, but that's the biggest motherfucking headline of the week, man. Let's get into these games.
You're we can go down the list. You said game of the week, the over one of the overtime games. Bengals
The overtime game.
Bengals losing at home to division rival Baltimore Ravens. Bengals moving on to 1-4. Who would have thought? Ravens sneakily 3-2 right now. But yeah, game of the week, Kev. Tell me why it was game of the week.
Because it was a fucking slobber knocker. Like everything that could have possibly fucking happened, except the Justin Tucker miss because he don't do those. But
I just
the rate, the fucking so I did some research slash just listen to was I was in these NFL streets, right? So we were incorrect when we said that Joe Burrow is fucking like has this crazy record against Lamar Jackson and them. Lamar Jackson is actually 9-1 against the Bengals, but Jamar Chase averages like 195 yards or something like that on some crazy shit. So Jamar Chase goes crazy, and then because Jamar Chase is also going crazy, Joe Burrow is also going crazy. They just don't win. So I was like, huh, interesting.
oh,
But
I lost record was that like that. Dang.
yeah, I heard that and I was like, no way. So I checked and I was like, huh, interesting. Because you got to remember, the Bengals did suck. For that did suck, and these are just two games that these Joe Burrow's probably only played in like four of those games against Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, that's true.
So like Lamar Jackson be fucking them boys up. So this game was phenomenal because the Ravens get the lead in the first quarter. So you're thinking like, okay, this is going to be a conservative game, 7-0. Out of nowhere, the fucking Bengals erupt and score 17 in the second. And now it's like, oh, if you want to win this game, you better shoot this bitch up. And that's what it turned into. Lamar, Joe Burrow ends up throwing 5 touchdowns. Lamar ends up throwing 4 touchdowns. Derrick Henry gets 92 yards and scores, even though his long was for the 52-yarder to steal the game in OT. Jamar Chase, I didn't even check. I had to play against Jamar Chase in fantasy, and this motherfucker dropped 41 of it.
Yeah, he went. Even T Higgins went crazy.
Like everybody ate, and the Bengals offense was just on fire. And I think Joe Burrow only looked human for 2 minutes out of this game, and that's what made the difference. I think their O line gave up 3 sacks, but when Joe Burrow threw that pick, that's when this offense became ended up looking human. Like everything made sense. Everything was like, okay, we could do this. And somehow the Ravens still almost fucked that up, Paul. And
Yeah,
but
they. I would. Well, they teach you. I'm gonna say on that pick, they teach, especially late in the game. Like, don't you're in the red zone. Like he was at like the 25. I want to say in Baltimore. Like maybe not red zone, but you're within field goal distance late in the game with the lead. What are the two things you do right there? You don't take a sack and you don't throw an interception.
facts.
And he threw the interception, which opened up the door for the Ravens to come down to tie up.
No, 1,000. And then the first off, the way they tied them was crazy. I'm talking about Lamar. Get the fuck off of me.
That's gonna be the play of the year right there.
Yeah, that's just crazy. He's had a few of those like a couple years in a row. Remember he fucking threw that bitch up and caught it himself. But even though Pat Mahomes just did that this year. But this motherfucker said, "Get the fuck off of me." Gets out, runs over, throws that bitch up. Isaiah Likely gets through his third reception for his 13th yard of the game, but second touchdown. That shit was insane, and that showed just like the level of dog that they have in there. They're just like every like when it's time to make a play, they can make it. Nine times out of 10.
This is gonna be. I don't want to do this because you're a Falcons fan, but like Isaiah Likely coming out of Coastal Carolina, he was like a second or third round pick. I remember rookie year, like I was like, yeah, like this guy's gonna be the next market. Like when Andrews is done, this guy's gonna take over. Then Andrews gets hurt, he had his like little shine, but like he is kind of like the athletic freak that people said Kyle Pitts is. That, but he doesn't get the shine that Kyle Pitts was the first rounder. But like this motherfucker has like he runs like a 4.440, has like a 40-inch vert. Like he can get up there. He's fast. He's basically just a fucking wide receiver that happens to be 6 foot fives.
Nah, Jim is cold as fuck. I mean, when they're clicking and they give him the ball, he's definitely a problem. But if we talk about overtime, the fucking Ravens almost blew this. When Lamar had that fumble, I literally shit my pants. I was like, no way.
I was
No way you just gave up this game. Like, no way. But the Bengals found a way to give up the game back. I'm not mad at the field goal, but I'm more mad that you ran it 3 times. They was like, I they no
seven.
chance to fuck it up. Like, no chance to fuck it up. And like 58 yards is still pretty far. Cause what was it like? It was like 50, what was it, 58 or 54?
The exact distance on that field goal was 53 yards.
53, yeah. That shit motherfucking was far. I'm looking like, damn, this is
I,
what you settled for?
I didn't like it either because like, if you're on the 25, you run it 3 times, but you're on like the 35. And I was like, okay, well, first play, run. Okay, cool. Second down, run. Okay, what are we doing here? And I was getting scared because you usually see teams do that. Take the foot off the gas. Like you're winning because you had the foot on the gas, and now you're taking it off, and now you lost.
And like, this dude's been playing lights out. He's only looked human for like 5 plays this whole entire game. So like, I'm at least trying to get that first down, maybe ice the game a little bit, get a little closer, do something on second down. But I'm not Zach Taylor in the offense. But Lamar and them, they come down because they showed that they could drive on this defense no
Derrick
matter
Henry
what.
comes down.
Oh, my apologies. The King comes down with that 52 yarder, and that shit was beautiful. It was just like, but that was an all around team play. Because if you look at the blocking on that, like they really was like, hey yo, get him up out of there. The King's coming. Like, yo, yep, out. Like this shit was crazy.
Yeah, I I literally like they missed it, and I had that little glimmer of hope left. Okay, just a three and out right here, guys. 3 and out. And then Derrick Henry like busted that fucking year. I was like, yeah, GG's in the chat. Fucking Derrick Henry funny though, because in the post conference, not even the interview on before he gets to the locker room, he said that he thought he had no one left to beat, like he was gone, so he let up, and that's why he got caught. Otherwise, he would have scored a touchdown. And I was like,
This
nah,
nigga,
that guy was kind of on you.
that boy hockey kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, but don't. I'm not mad at Evan McPherson either, because like that was a bad hold, kid. Like, no, that shit is important. But this is another week where it shows how important special teams is.
It's 1/3 of the game.
I'm telling you, man, if you got five special teams, you can really get off on some people.
And then I mean, this one didn't go to overtime, but then another one of the games of the week would have been the Jaguars Colts, another divisional game. Jags get their first win, 1-4, whereas the Colts fall to 2-3. But I mean, Joe fucking Flacco, man. Kev, I told you, I was like, this is a hard pick for me, Kev. I was like, Joe Flacco gonna come in 300, on deck. It's gonna be there. But
But you understand.
but the
You
Jags,
understand.
Jags gonna have to get a win finally, and thankfully they did, bro. My take on them winning the division is still alive with this win.
I don't know, man. Texas is balling right now. But you don't understand. I was watching this game and I was so sick watching Joe Flacco. Because, like, I'm like, bro, we literally picked them because the fucking Colts have lost here like 8 years in a row or some shit like that. Like, we also picked them because of how well they played last week. But I'm like, this team did get fucked up by the Bills, and I'm watching the Bills get their ass beat by the Texans right now. Whose idea was it to pick the fucking Jags? I'm talking about the DC. the defensive coordinator for the Jag was watching and Joe Flacco and Alec Pierce tear up their secondary, and he was just sick. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm fucking trying. Like,
It was a bad because both teams show good things, but like it was almost like two halves. I felt like because first half, Trevor Lawrence was like 20 for 24, 250 yards was the
eating.
perfect game. And then the second half was when the Colts just went on like a three consecutive scoring drives, like back to back to back. And
Not not even second half. All in the fourth quarter. 24
on the
points.
yeah, I was like, there was a time where they just like lit up and like the Jaguars just did enough. Like they maybe they punted a couple, but like they got a drive, like they got one drive together that they needed to put like some points on the board just to keep the Colts at bay. But yeah, like this was a great game. Like honestly, like oh, and it was Trevor Lawrence's birthday. Which when they said that on the over the fucking commentary, I was like, oh yeah, the Jags gonna have to get this dub.
Yeah, I mean they ended up it's on the sack. Shout out them boys, but that was a close one. And shout out the young talent rising up out of Jacksonville right now with Brian Thomas Jr. and what's Big Ting Bisbee. I actually just picked him up on fantasy.
Yeah, I had Brian Thomas in a lot of my leagues. You got him. You can give him like as a late flyer. He was another first round pick out of LSU. Like he just wasn't the main receiver coming out of it. He wasn't Malik Neighbors. He was just the guy on the other side.
Not for real. But yeah, that boy was eating.
Then we did have a not blowouts, but we got two back to back. Yeah, blowouts. Commanders beating the brakes off the Browns. This I mean Jaden Daniels, arguably his toughest game. It's
It's
definitely his
this
toughest
game.
game. Uh, he didn't put up his 80% completion percentage. Only did 14 of 25, 238, a touchdown, interception. But he also showed like 82 yards on the ground. Brian Robinson is low key like another running back that's like you might have to add him to like anytime touchdown score every week because he consistently has been scoring touchdowns.
Facts.
And then Scary Terry and him, their chemistry is starting to click. It's and on the other side, when is James Winston? That's the new talking point I think is now with people. It's like when is James Winston getting to play? Like y'all paid him good money to be a backup for, and like this is any other quarterback situation, you're pulling the starter by now.
Yeah, it's looking like because now it's like a what's good for the best of your team as a whole. Like we get it. You guys don't have you paid them and you're stuck with that contract. And because of that, they're probably not gonna do fully guaranteed contracts for 5 years no more. That's kind of crazy. But
Look at the Broncos
this
though.
yeah, I was about to say, look at your team as a whole though, because now what is your defense gonna say when they gotta come out here every week just for the offense to stink it up?
Free agents in the like, how are you gonna get another big time receiver to want to come play for you? Like free agency is gonna be tough. Re-signing guys that if they're like if Deshaun is still on for the next 3 years is gonna be tough. I say look at the
Oh,
Broncos because they were stuck with Russell Wilson and what are they right now? Like are they 3-2 or 2-3 or whatever? Fucking and they're
bro, they
looking
might be number two in that division.
yeah, I think they're 3-2 low key and they got like they got
But
rid of
look,
him. So they moved on. They said, fuck it, we'll take that out. We'll pay that money, but we need the win. We need to find quarterback play.
and look how well the rest of the team is playing. So yeah, me personally, I don't know what the fuck you do in the Browns. I mean, Nick Chubb is slowly getting coming back. Jerome Ford's been playing well, but I don't know what the fuck you do over there because Deshaun Watson is not it.
And then it wasn't this game, but it was the week before where Deshaun Watson, after all this mediocrity play, I forgot to bring this up. He said something to like I like moving forward. I'm not gonna because I think he had a good running game, and he was like, "Yeah, moving forward, I'm not trying to use my legs. I don't want to keep taking I don't want to keep taking these hits or something." And then like people are commenting like, "Bro, like if you motherfucker, you better do anything you can to keep." Like, what the fuck you calling? Don't want to keep taking hits. Like, motherfucker, you better like go out there and do something.
Bro, that nigga
Show the
is
team you care. Like, you better take as many hits as you can to show something to the team.
Bro, that nigga gets paid regardless.
And the other blowout was the Bears and the Panthers. Caleb Williams is sneakily looking better and better every week. I don't want to accept it, but like it is. And the my take of potentially three teams coming out of here in the playoffs is kind of ice cold because it might be four fucking teams coming out with the Packers, the Vikings, the Lions, and the Bears. All have winning records. Oh no, yeah, no, all have winning records right now, I believe.
Yeah, and fun fact, the fucking the Bears are like have won 8 straight home games or something like that.
Yeah, they're holding it
Sneakily.
down. Longest win home streak in the NFL right now.
Yeah, that's kind of sneakily, man. I mean, like you said, this offense is looking better and better. I think as a whole, this offense is looking well because DeAndre Swift has been doing his thing. Like, without a doubt, I definitely can see this Bears team being a team that can make some noise later in the season, and especially in this rough ass division with how well their defense has been playing all season.
And there's this nice little clip of Caleb Williams, and the wind was crazy in Chicago. If you ever know, it's called the Windy City for a reason.
Oh yeah, Jit was throwing the water. Yeah.
He's throwing a lot of wind blowing, you know that shit. And he's like, we should take a deep shot. Like DJ Moore's like, it's kind of windy, bro. So next play, throws that bitch up. DJ Moore, perfect throw, touchdown, like 40 yarder.
Yeah, that shit was beautiful.
This is good. This is a good press if I've ever seen it. That was a nice.
Yeah. I mean, I like to see it because the rookie quarterbacks were definitely getting cooked the first couple of weeks. But like, if you look at it, they're the only niggas winning right now.
Yeah, they win it. Like the only ones that in the first round I haven't got to play is JJ and Penix, and like, but the other ones are all winning.
And Appendix need to stay exactly where he at right now.
Yeah, good thing to say that right
Don't,
there.
don't
And
move.
then we had some of the closer games around at 1 o'clock was the my Dolphins getting the win 15-10. Really low scoring. Boston Connor said this was the under bowl of the century. He said, I don't care. You go pick a player, close your eyes, find a player, hit under, and that bitch is gonna cash. And he look, he wasn't wrong. But I just like to see that the fight isn't gone with the Dolphins. It looks like they're all on the same page because we're on a bye week this week. Week 6, we got the bye. 2 will probably be back week 8. So it's like we just have to scrap some wins. We can't go winless in these next couple of weeks. So we got one win that we should get. Tyler Huntley looking a little bit better. They seem to let him to play a little bit more ball. But Jalen Wright, I told people at like week 2, whatever, some of our players got hurt, that our running back Jalen Wright, rookie out of Tennessee, was probably going to be like the next best thing, and he's low key taking over the backfield with he's taking the Raheem Mostert stop, where he's going to be the guy who gets 15 touches a game. Because what he got 13 this game for 86 yards, and I mean, as long as we win it, I don't give a fuck how we do it. The defense played pretty well, but this was a Patriots squad, so it is what it is.
I mean, I think it's funny because the I don't know how to say it exactly. I don't know if the Dolphins almost blew this game or the Patriots really, really, really tried to win this game because there was like a this is one of those next time they play, they're probably gonna have two, so we can win this game now. This would be very, very nice for later in the season. So I don't know how to call it exactly, but the Patriots tried to win for sure. I mean, Jacoby Brissett was driving down fourth, fourth, was driving down fourth quarter. They're in the red zone. They had the touchdown, but it got called back, and the defense had to stop. The defense held up, and shout out them boys because y'all did it without Javon Holland. So the defense did their thing. I I respect the run game. I feel like y'all should keep running the fuck out the ball. The HN is questionable right now, so if HN comes back, y'all have all three of those dudes. I really think y'all should figure out be a running team because the coolest was that running touchdown that y'all had because Tyreek is playing the screen, so everybody has to go look at that screen. You have to facts. You have to look at that screen. So he walked in that bitch, no problem. O line pushed him through. So shout out to Dolphins. I shouldn't have picked against y'all. I really feel crazy. I feel like it was one of those. I needed some more dogs on my team.
And I will say this is the straw that broke the camel's back. The Patriots fans getting what they want next week. Drake May is officially the starter come week 6.
I do not know how good a thing that is yet.
Then we had the Texans. I mean, you keep referring to this game. Texans beating the Bills 23-20. It was an ass whooping. And then come third,
Facts.
fourth quarter, the Bills did everything they could to claw their way back. They tie it up late in the fourth, and then fucking CJ Stroud is really like in year 2, he is him. He's not in the MVP combo, like his yard, like he doesn't have the stats to back it up, I don't think right now. But that motherfucker just kind of has ice in his veins. Like he doesn't ever waver. Like he's not his confidence doesn't ever change whether it's the first quarter or fourth quarter. And that I think that's like the most telling thing when I see him play.
You know what's crazy? I seen a picture on Twitter because Falcons fan. So I get a lot of Georgia stuff on my TL. And they was showing a picture like, yo, how good is Stetson Bennett? And you just see a picture like CJ Stroud, Aiden Hutchinson, and fuck, who was the other one? There was one more person. Was it Jaden? No, it wasn't Jaden. It was Jaden Daniels' sister. There was one more person.
Who else was in that
There,
draft? Base
there's
Young potentially.
yeah, Bryce Young, all just like sick face because Aiden Stetson Bennett sent him home.
Oh, and call yeah, and the CFB, yeah.
Yeah, like that shit is crazy. But so I I 1000% agree with you. I think CJ Stroud just has a different level of dog in him right now. When he threw that over the top to Nico Collins, it literally just turned to the side and just looked like, I do this. I do this. Like that's when I was like, oh, you're worse, you're himmer than him. And the fact that their offense, when they lost Nico Collins, their offense didn't like take some crazy like downward spiral. Like you lost the number one receiver in the league right now and still kept motherfucking eating. So I respect this team. I think this team's going to continue to eat. And I think we got to keep respecting their defense that can get the stops that need to get stops because the the Bills fucking had a shot. I think when CJ Stroud threw that interception, like they had a shot. But like they showed that they still have fight in them, and then they get the ball back. The the power special teams, the fucking Texans pin them boys within the fucking 5, and they throw it 3 times. The defense holds up, 3 stops. They kick it back, and just off the kick return gets them into field goal range almost. And they take the safe shot. They do what the Bengals should have did and held the ball perfectly for their kicker. And that boy kicks it in. And how far was this one? Was this the 58 yarder?
Um, it was 59.
59. Like,
He's low key one of like no one's talking about him as like best kicker in the league, but
I am. He's on my fantasy.
he's been so consistent like last year and this year as like their kicker. Like he's low key, I think, and like should be in that combo as like a top 3 kicker, especially with this year where Tucker missed a lot of 50 yarders to start the year off. I think he could just squeak in and like Tucker's at like the 4th spot.
Yeah, it's like him,
3 and
Brandon
probably
Aubrey, Young Hoku, and Justin Tucker. Yeah, top 5. Greg the Leg might be there somewhere.
yeah, he's not as consistent though. He got the leg though.
Yeah, he got the leg.
Uh, but I will say Nico's not gonna play next game, but like you said, they still got Diggs, they still got Tank. Oh no, Tank's on the IR, but they still offense looking like, and Joe Mixon's coming back. Like they didn't have Joe Mixon. Cam Akers did the best he can, but his
This
like
is not
30
a lot.
40 yards a game was nothing compared to like Joe Mixon, who I was kind of down on to start the year because he's a little older running back, but he proved me wrong. With like the first, he had like 29 carries, 150 yards. Like he definitely is still the workhorse back that can be back there. And they
He,
haven't
and like you said, they don't waver, man. They can play a close game. Like you can't tell that they're all young.
had, on the other side, Josh Allen 9 for 30. 30% completion percentage, lowest completion percentage in a single game in over 30 years with a quarterback with at least 30 attempts. He also did take a hit where it looked like he got a concussion, and he went to the blue tent, came back, and kind of played pretty mediocre to return for the game, which also hints why he went 9 for 30. A lot of people calling the question about that little situation that happened there.
They
But
said, they said they gave him like smelling salts, and then they were
yeah,
like,
so
"Oh yeah, you straight."
wake back up. Yeah, it wasn't a good look. I will say that much with especially with like when you're making it such a priority on like with Tua, like like concussions are such a big deal. Like someone should retire if he gets a concussion. Whereas then you see Josh Allen take a concussion, get some smelling salts, and they put his ass right back in the game.
Yeah, that shit is crazy.
Yeah, I'm not trying to sound like an upset Dolphins fan, but like you could see the double standard like right in your face if you want to look at it.
Oh no, man. But no, it was crazy because he was 9 for 23 before that. So like him, him hitting his head like that did not help. And
I will say 9 completions in the game is crazy to think about. Like
and
there's
they
nine,
kept throwing and they kept throwing it.
yeah, like there's nine total. Like there's imagine there's 9 total catches were made by your team in a day. Like that's it. Like
No man, that shit is crazy. So yeah, I want to call it terrible time management. I just think it was just the offense couldn't convert for nothing. Like maybe if they got a first down, I could justify one of those deep shots to try to get in the field goal range. But they just looked like they didn't want to go in overtime. They was like, yeah, overtime is not our friend. We don't ever win this, so we're not going here. And they gave up the game like that.
almost like when fighting when they say don't let the judges decide it.
I'm telling you.
Then we had I think this is the last 1 o'clock game. I forgot about it because it was an ass whooping. Broncos beating the shit out of the Raiders, 34-18.
I think it was a
Guard
4 o'clock game.
or was it? Either way, this one I kind of tuned away after halftime. Gardner getting benched. Aiden O'Connell comes in to close out the game. He's also going to be the starter moving forward. Raiders are in a very bad spot right now with Antonio Pierce is on the hot seat. Devontae Adams was being traded. Now he's not being traded. He's part of the team. He's only hurt for right now. Whereas on the other side, the Broncos breaking a fucking like 8 game skid to the Raiders. And Sean Payton's looking like a genius. Bo Nix is doing enough, and he's actually, I would say, he played a decent game here. And he got feisty on the sideline with Sean Payton, showing that he got some passion for the game. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
overall, the vibes in Bronco County is looking pretty good right now.
So, hey, man, I was trying to tell you, you got to respect the Sean Payton coach defense. And you know what happens when you don't respect the Sean Payton coach defense? A 99-yard interception return by your boy PS2. And I forget his name, but the other corner on the other side isn't bad at all right now.
Riley Moss,
Yeah, he's the truth.
the white man savior.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, White Corn is an eater right now. But the
Yeah,
Broncos are showing that they're a feisty team. They can win ball games. Bo Nix played his best game of the season for like how many yards?
206 and 2 touchdowns.
That's the best game he's played so far. So if the Broncos can play great defense and the offense doesn't throw the ball game away, they can continue winning. Like Sean Payton showed that he's still a great coach. He's supposed to be a quarterback guru, so we'll see if Bo Nix can grow and evolve. But the Bronco County, my real estate in Bronco County is definitely not up in value, but not as bad as a loss as if I sold like some people.
I want to say that Sean Payton right now, and some of these other older coaches, but like Sean Payton is single handedly proving that, like, because I feel like someone in the last 5 years, we've been seeing a lot more uptick in like newer head coaches and stuff. And some of them work out good. Like you got the Zach Taylors and the Stefanskis of the world. Then you got like the Brandon Staley's of the world, who was a hot commodity at one point. Like Brandon Staley was like, oh, look at this hot new coach going for it on fourth downs and shit. Like, that was a big deal. And I feel like Sean Payton's like proving like he sat back for a little bit, watched these new coaches do their thing, and he's like scratching his head, like, why the fuck are they making some of these decisions? And he came back and it seemed like showing it like This is how you fucking win a ball game, bitches. Like you don't need the best
But
quarterback. You don't need all this. You don't need the stars, glamour. You need fucking some grit, determination, the locker room on your side. Like these 50-50 games. If you got fucking if you got a well coached team, you're gonna win them. And like I just like he's bringing back like old school coaching. I feel like because this motherfucker winning games that he should not be winning.
right,
Not this game particularly, but 34 points with this Broncos offense and shit. I know 7 points came from the defense, but still, it's like, come on, this is this is some good coaching right here. This is some like Andy Reid's been cooking for years and shit. Like just they show you like these the Shanahan tree, like the fucking these old fashioned coaches know what the fuck they've been doing.
hey man, and maybe this is what happens when you put the coach over the player. You seen they got Russ up out of there. They
Uh,
kept a lot of other teams would have fired the coach again after they just fired Hackett.
I know if Stefanski gets called into office for the Browns, talking about, hey, bro, it's just, you gotta start winning some games. He's gonna be like, bro, fuck, he's gonna point right at the Broncos, but bro, I don't want what he got. Then we go down to I think that was 4 o'clock. The next 4 o'clock game. This was a thriller. 49ers losing at home to the Cardinals 23-24, Kev. And I mean, Kyler Murray, 50-yard run to break the fucking bank to start off. Like, oh shit, okay, this Cardinals game came out to fight. And then, me personally, I felt like the 49ers saw that and was like, yeah, we got to put that shit dead. By halftime, it was looking like 49ers about to just roll them. And then Jake Moody gets hurt. Offense stalls. Brock Purdy not making the best decisions. Cardinals rallying. Fucking Marvin Harrison Jr. Michael Wilson. Uh, James Conner, like the whole offense started clicking in the second half, and they start, you just start seeing the comeback happen. Like right before your eyes, you see one score. You're like, okay, 49ers got to do something here. They don't. And then the Cardinals do another one. And all of a sudden, fourth quarter, a minute left, Chad Ryland gets what will be the game winning field goal. And Cardinals, another underdog of 6.5 points or more that has just straight up won come Sunday.
Yeah, we were talking about it. We said
There's
that
another one that's coming up soon too. That's a 6.5 point dog that say, yeah, we're just gonna win on Sunday.
yeah, we was talking shit, but the 49ers, I mean, Jake Moody gets hurt going for the tackle, and that kind of like
Oh,
played the difference. Definitely made the difference in the game. But the 49ers, they just showed again that the offense can be stalled out because like they don't have CMC, but like the rest of the team that we said they needed is there. So like I'm gonna continue thinking about the 49ers team I saw on Thursday, not this 49ers team that I saw blow this shit to a Cardinals team because they let video game Kyler come out. They couldn't contain him. We can't contain this team. They can't contain dude like they can do whatever they want. So that's how I'm gonna take it. But yeah, shout out for the 40 Cardinals for getting a great win in the division.
and this is I want to say it was at one point that Shanahan had some crazy record. It was like he's winning at half, he's 50-0. I remember seeing some crazy record like that at one point. I was like, oh, if Shanahan has the lead going into halftime, he's 49-0. But like since that record that came out, I feel like I've seen him squander so many leads after halftime. And this is another week. Like I know we'll talk Thursday night football where that wasn't the case, but this week was week 5 was a week where after halftime, interception, turnover on downs, fumble, interception. That's their 4 drives. Um, yeah, the turnover on downs was a 4th and long. And you have no kicker. I understand that, but the fucking fumble in the red zone on 1st and 10,
That shit
um,
was crazy.
that sets up the field goal, and then Brock Purdy throwing the interception that was tipped at the line to seal the game. But like, there was just fucking this like they keep doing it to themselves, and like you can only keep like that's not a good sign. I feel like this is you. We'll talk more on the 49ers after come Thursday football later this live. But the Cardinals, we're kind of spot on with them, Kev. They're the team that everyone wrote off, but like they're 2-3, but they've been in every ball game. Like every single game has been a ball game with them. They're not some pushover team.
And they're 2-0, probably one of the hardest divisions.
Yeah, week one against the Bills. That's a game where they potentially could have won, and we're saying like they're 3-2 and shit like that. Like they've been in every fucking ball game. Kyler's still playing for his job low key because like the them wanting to move on from him hasn't ever like really went away. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, whenever he's clicking, he's clicking. And then I think a lot of um somebody that slept on really much is James Conner. I think James Conner's playing really, really well and making this offense stay dynamic and making defense stay true. Like you can do a lot when you can run these motherfuckers out of cover two. When you can run them up out of cover two, now you can start opening up and really letting your quarterback you get loose.
Facts. And another game, one of your locks that I wanted to lock up too. The Packers 24, Rams 19. Rams are 1-4 right now. Not a good look. The Packers 3-2. The whole NFC North is above 500 with them hitting 3-2 this week. Uh, I mean, Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs. Packers seem to have like a legit, all well-rounded team. The tight end is the MVP of this week. I want to say for the Packers.
Right, Kraft.
Yeah, like 2 touchdowns, 86 yards. And there was like one of them bitches was like 50 yards, I want to say. He got that bitch was like wide open and no one down the sideline and he was just gone. Like it was just like, oh shit, like the Rams defense is just terrible. Like that's just another thing to note.
But on that it was a 66-yard pass. And he had to like burn a couple people on the ankle. Like I feel like he kind of surprised a lot of people because I was looking like, oh, he's fast.
He put that
He's
fucking
not.
second gear
Yeah,
on.
yeah, he's not fast. Don't get me wrong. He's not like no speed demon, no cheetah, or nothing. But like, damn, I was like, big boy moving. But yeah, that was a good team win for them. One thing I will say, the Packers got to slow down on these turnovers. Yeah, but oh, oh, Jordan Love only had one this week. Okay. Let
Yeah.
me check. I was
There
gonna
was
come on
a
in
fumble
next.
too though. There were
Oh, that's what it was. I
and
remember them having
Love
more
also
than
had a
one.
sack fumble, yeah.
But they got to slow down on these turnovers. But as well as Xavier McKinney, another week.
We're in one chat I'm in, we're talking about like because he also he didn't force the fumble this week, but he recovered the fumble. And I was like, bro, all those little stats may add up. Like he potentially could be defensive player of the year. Like he's having that Jesse Bates Winfield type of season from last year, or Kyle Hamilton S season from last year.
Mm-hmm. Trevon Diggs S season type shit.
Yeah, like he's really like 5 weeks in a row, 5 interceptions. Now got a fumble recovery to add to it, and it wasn't an interception, I think, but he did throw. I think it was a safety, or not say no. The interception was when him trying to not get the safety. He throws it, trying to get out of bounds, and it was the interception. So it wasn't
Yeah,
like
that's it.
yeah, it wasn't the worst thing in the world, but it was also like a dumb move.
That shit was funny. It was just like the way he threw it to you, was like, bro, fuck it.
And
But yeah, that was a good team win for the Packers. But
needed that.
The Rams tried to win this thing. It's not like let's not make it seem like the Rams weren't in it at all. But they tried to rally pass.
I feel like their offense turns on in the fourth quarter too late in the like every single week so far.
Yeah, definitely. But the Packers that 14-point third quarter means a lot. And I
And
think both the touchdowns were the Tucker Craft. Yeah.
they, there was no Watson and no Dobbs. Watson's hurt. Dobbs was away for something else. And then now rumors are coming out where like Dobbs is unhappy with the targets he's getting type shit. And I don't, it's all rumors, but we'll see. But like that, like it's not a wrinkle you want because everything is looking good everywhere else.
Yeah, I almost forgot. 49ers, field goal block, touchdown, still lost. I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Did as much as you could this week. Then the other 7 point dog of the week, the Giants 29-20 against the Seahawks squad. Uh, no Malik Neighbors too, and no Devin Singletary. They brought in the rookie Trevon Tracy Jr., who went off for 18 carries, 129 yards. Lonnie was all in my. He has been talking about the rookie that he should be starting over Motor, so I'll give him that. and he definitely proved that, oh, maybe this young gun should be the starter moving forward. Darius Slayton, 122 yards in the touchdown. Daniel Jones, 257 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like the Giants were looking decent. They're still 2-3. They're not like some killers, not going that crazy. But this is the this like because this wasn't a game where I felt like the defense took over, and like that was what my calling card for the Giants was like. Oh, their defense is gonna win them game. I felt like their
I,
offense played a really good game.
I think their pass rush played well in this game. They got
No,
yeah, their pass rush got 7 sacks.
oh damn, they got 7 sacks. I didn't see that.
Yeah, their pass rush came alive this game for sure. But but I was just and technically their defense did play well. They only gave up 13 points because the Broncos because they got the fumble. But I don't know, man. The Giants, I don't want to like even slightly have hope, but I definitely don't look at them the same way I look at a Browns team. But I felt like they were in the same boat come week 2. And they've shown that they've got life in them still. And with the Eagles playing terrible and the Commanders running that division right now, it's kind of up for grabs for that second spot with the Cowboys. So shout out the Giants
You do
winning,
have to
and I
take into account though. I almost forgot because I the Seahawks almost tied the game up 23-23 with like a minute left in the fourth quarter. The potential to go to
and
overtime.
then
Isaiah Simmons jumping over, blocking that pitch. They take it back to steal the game, touchdown. And that was the backbreaker. There's only like 50 seconds left in the game. And like Isaiah, this is the fun nugget that not a lot of people know. Isaiah Simmons was added to the special teams unit this week. He wasn't on the special teams all year. So like for him to add very first week and he does this was kind of like, oh yeah, maybe you're gonna be playing on this unit a lot more this year.
I was literally about to say that because that was literally the difference in the game. I think it was like a I wanted to say the Seahawks didn't play well because he did only put up 13 against and he gave up 7 sacks. But at the end of the day, they kind of just like look, they came alive, and when they thought they was about to tie this bitch up, the Giants sealed that bitch and called game.
Yeah, and boy, you should have. If you were in the group chat with Lonnie, that motherfucker was going nuts when that shit happens. Then we
Oh,
had
I know he was lit.
then we had Sunday night football, which wasn't as exciting, but it's still a good game. Cowboys winning 20-17. I tried to tell you, Kev, that the Cowboys was gonna win this bitch primetime game.
But if they don't have that fucking hour and a half rain delay, I don't think they win that game.
Or that storm was going crazy. There's a crazy nice picture of all the lighting outside the stadium. But yeah, not like but this game was up to like I was up to like 1 in the morning watching the day because they the a Saturday game was Miami versus Cal college football, and that bitch
Oh
kicked
yeah,
off.
that was late.
Yeah, that bitch ended. So they were saying like if you watch the college football Cal versus Miami, me woke up to watch Vikings versus Jets, me, and then finished the Sunday with that game, you're a fucking demon. I was like, yeah, I'm guilty of all charges in this one.
Yeah, you're a demon kick. I fell asleep and woke up to see the end of this game. Like I shit you not. Like I was, cause me and the homie started watching. We were waiting so long for this. We had Sunday like dinner game night set up, kid. Like I found this cheeseburger slider recipe on TikTok. So I made these fire ass cheeseburger sliders, fried up some fries. I came out with this new drink that I found on TikTok where you put like the Kool-Aid pack in the Tito's. Then you mix that bitch with some lemonade and some Sprite. Stir that bitch up real good. Fire. And like we're over here lit waiting for the game, and these niggas are still talking, and we're just like, fuck it. So we started watching those AI anime dub shits where it's like the hood Jujutsu Kaisen and Naruto and shit. So I end up falling asleep. I wake up and I see like okay, bet. Like I said, the Steelers defense, all you gotta do is don't give up 13. Don't get all the offense have to do is score more than 14. Steelers ain't gonna give up more than 14. They fine. And then that last drive comes down. And I probably woke up a couple plays before my dog hits the fuck out that running back on that second and goal forces a fumble, and Dak on a living on a fucking prayer with an inch of his life gets that fumble back. And everybody was coming in at Cam Newton. Somehow Cam Newton was catching sprays for that play because I guess Cam Newton didn't get the fumble in the Super Bowl, and that made the difference. But motherfucking, and then you watch the fucking, they get the stop on third and goal. You're like, oh, they got this fourth and goal. Steelers defense holds it down, and you're looking at the play. It's a fucking phenomenal play call, great execution, and the linebacker that had the man that had that man on that receiver, he read it like he saw it. He just couldn't get there. Like
Tolbert,
sometimes, but
Tolbert is fast. Like he is the
yeah,
most dangerous punt returner, kick returner in the NFL. And with Brandon Cooks getting hurt and Tolbert having to become the new wide receiver number two, it's kind of added another element of like speed that wasn't there. Like CD's gonna outrun you, like he's gonna cook you on that side. But then now there's another guy that's gonna like if you put a linebacker on him, like you just said, a linebacker on probably the fastest guy in the Cowboys. That's why like Achan and Tyreek Hill sometimes begin like streaking open with the Dolphins because it's just like a complete mismatch. And that's kind of what the Tolbert is for the Cowboys.
mm-hmm. Like it just I was like I watched that play like at least 8 times. Like I'm just looking like, damn, bro. Like me as a defensive coordinator, I'm like, I called the right play, I called the right package. That motherfucker is just fast. Like
I will say that the defense still played the best. Like they played as good as they could to stop. Like yeah, Dak had 350 yards, but he had so many yards because he drove down and then throw multiple. He had 2 red zone interceptions in this game. 2 red zone interceptions that's at least 6 points off the board because Aubrey's automatic with 2 field goals right there.
and one was going into halftime, and like that kills all momentum.
And they still found a way to rally. Fourth quarter because this was just a low scoring game altogether. There wasn't a lot of points. But Rico Dowdle is slowly becoming
Solid.
running back number one.
Which he should be.
Tolbert
Who
is
is
he's on the waiver wire, and you need a wide receiver or flex. Like Tolbert is looking like a solid guy because they're gonna throw the ball 30, 40 times a game. That is guaranteed with this Cowboys offense. Steelers are. I still think Steelers are on a good play. This is one of those situations where both
oh
teams
he
are
was a safety.
3-2. But like, if I'm a Steelers fan and I'm 3-2, I'm cool. I'm sitting here like we're shooting above our expectations to start the year. We started off 3-0. We didn't expect that. We're having good games, and then on the other side though, if you're 3-2 as a Cowboys fan, you're not happy though. Like like if you're a Steelers fan, you're happy at 3-2. But you're a Cowboys fan 3-2, you're like, bro, we've been playing like shit all year. What the fuck? Like we're barely winning these games, this and that. Like these are two different 3-2s moving forward.
Yeah, I can respect that. And like Justin Fields, only 131 yards, but 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Like,
You slept. This would have been a game where if you would have came on here or saying like, yeah, he played ass, I would have been like, yeah, you're 100% right. Like he had the 2 touchdowns, but it was more of like good field position and shit like that type of touchdowns. But like he did, this is a game where if he would have did at least decent, they probably win this game. Like if he would have went out there and had like one scoring drive that wasn't set up by a good defensive stop, they probably win this game.
I just think they probably need to figure out something with this run game to get that bitch going because it's
That's just
you
the
could do
lost cause.
yeah, like maybe like get somebody to help Najee Harris. I don't know what it is. I know they don't like to pay running backs. You seen Le'Veon, but boy,
They probably
something.
got someone to be honest, because like at this point, Nigel's got to go. Cordell Patterson, I don't know why they thought bringing him in was going to be like this new like
Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith was like
yeah, Arthur
he's
Smith,
over there.
yeah.
He's, you don't
Jalen
gotta pay him
Warren,
too much.
people love pitching Jalen Warren, but I'm like, Jalen Warren's like 5'10", like he's not gonna be a 3 down back. Like there's no way, like he's gonna be leading y'all to the chart. But yeah, no Steelers. I mean, like I said, they're still 3-2. I know Patrick is lit at 3-2. Then
Facts.
our Monday night game. This is when we saw a mile away. Chiefs winning 26-13. Juju, no one would have thought that, like, yeah, Rashee Rice going down. A lot of people were expecting it. Okay, Xavier Worthy time. This is like rookie. This is his time to shine. And then it was like, no, we're gonna go back to what we did last year. Juju, 7 catches, 130 yards. Mike Gesicki, Travis Kelsey, what did he have? 9 catches for 70 yards. Xavier Worthy did score a running touchdown, which was kind of dope. They kind of that's still a good play caller, Andy Reid. But the defense I want to say defense balled out. It's kind of a mix of emotions because I want to say defense balled out because they did play a really good game, but it's also like Derek Carr has fooled everybody and with those first 2 weeks. Like the first 2 weeks, Saints were about 40 points back to back. Derek Carr, Alvin Kamara, Rashid Shaheed. This team is fucking. This offense is fucking reaching new heights. The offensive coordinator is cooking. And then the last 3 weeks, we've seen like, oh no, this Saints offense is still pretty fucking mid. Like they're fucking, they die in the red zone. Derek Carr is not. He's a good quarterback, not a great quarterback. Kamara's still older. Like he has games where he doesn't get no more than 50 yards on 20 carries. Like yeah, I know this is music to your ears, Kev, but it's kind of crazy. Like they fooled everyone. Because there's that. You ever see that meme where it'd be like LeBron James listening to music, like, and there's that one guy that looks like LeBron. He's copying the mannerisms. They're like week 1, week 2, Derek Carr, and it was LeBron, and week 3 was like the copycat. And it was like week 3 through 6.
No, I can agree with that. I think I look at it more like that Russell Westbrook was talking about Patrick Beverly. He was like, man, Patrick Beverly don't play defense. He fooling y'all. He tricking y'all. Y'all think he play defense. Like that's
He
what
just
he.
does.
Yeah, Derek Carr don't play no offense for real. But I will say their offense can look explosive when they can get vertical. When they don't get vertical, which is most of the time, they kind of stuck. But if they can get vertical, you're not playing too much deep zone coverage on them. Like they can make something shake, and they can force you out of not doing that if Alvin Kamara can get off and they can get the run game going. And my Falcons showed that that's very easy to stop. The Eagles also showed that too. But
Bird.
that's kind of the Saints thing. I just think it's crazy if you look into it's 2024 and Pat Mahomes, Kareem Hunt, and Travis Kelsey are eating again on the fucking are eating on the Chiefs right now. So I think it's pretty nostalgic to see the Chiefs. They're still undefeated. And I think we called this game. I think this team is undefeated the ugly way. They play a lot of good defense and their offense knows how to win. So they've shown that they can keep winning games and they've had the win streak dated back to last year. But this just wasn't the week for them to lose. We said the same thing about the Vikings. This just wasn't the team to beat them. And maybe next week they might have a better challenge, but they played the game they were supposed to play, and they showed that they can continuously adjust and adapt.
Yeah, no, that I will say with the Chiefs is this is the best first 5 week position they've been since we covered the podcast.
Facts.
Every
Usually we're like, damn.
every year we're sitting here because it's always the same narrative. Like, yo, the Chiefs are 2-3, and Mahomes has 5 interceptions, and the offense is not looking too good, or the Chiefs are 3-2, and this, that, and the third injury. And it's always like, what's gonna happen with them? And like this is the first year. Like they got a fucking jump start in the rest of the league. Like they could kind of bullshit a couple of weeks and still be okay right now.
Facts, yeah. I'm expecting the bullshit weeks to come. But yeah, the Chiefs are in a very good. I just like the way that they continuously adapt. Pacheco hurt, no problem. Rasheed Rice hurt, no problem. Travis Kelsey isn't getting open, no problem. Like we'll figure it out.
And then they got the bye week this week, and then come week 7, like Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes off a bye, like they have like an insane win record, so you should expect them to win the following week as well. So it's just like it could be like 6-0 coming into week 7. Like fucking who knows?
Yeah, and as long as they continue trending up, we just don't want to peak now.
Then if y'all don't know, y'all didn't come in the beginning. Fucking we're recapping both week 5 and the start of week 6. So that was the full recap of week 5. We forgot to give out the stats. Kev won the week 9-5, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
Whereas
sir.
7-7, a couple of 50-50 games that went the wrong way, aka the Bengals and Ravens.
So what's that? You won the first 2 weeks, or did you win the first week and we
It
tied the
was
second
tied.
week?
It was tied up, so now you're up 3-2, I believe. I have to
Okay.
check all that for sure. Uh, on the locks though, 4-0 as a podcast. Kev, Tommy, and Packers. I went Bears and Jags. 6-4 on your locks, Kev. I'm 8-2 on my locks. And once again, I'm 0-5 on my dogs. Jets losing for me. And then Kev, the Bills costed you. You went 3-2. Still got a winning record. You're still in the ball game. Like it was a 3-point game at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, that shit was some bullshit. I'm not gonna tell you how upset I was about that, but I was kind of upset. But I think it's funny how like I was like, I remember picking. I was like, I should pick the 49ers because there's no way they lose to the Cardinals. And I was like, but that's not fun. I'm gonna pick the Packers.
Save you. The
Those
closer
are
games are the ones that would be more easier to pick. I realize in this line of profession.
the facts.
Then we weren't here to give you a Thursday night preview. I know me personally, I would have took the 49ers, and my whole thing would have been there's no way they lose like 3 weeks in a row. Like there's no shot that they're losing 3 weeks in a row. But unfortunately we didn't get to make the picks. But 49ers winning 36-24. Uh I wasn't fully tuned into this game, but at multiple times I came into this game and it was an ass whooping. Like at halftime I was watching and it was 16-3. The Seahawks, it was 16-0, and the Seahawks make a really good drive at the end of the half. They get within scoring position, they try, and then they settle for the field goal, and it's 16-3 going into halftime. And I was sitting there like, damn, like you kind of needed a touchdown there to make it 16-7. It's still a ball game. You come out of half, and who knows? Maybe it's a different ball game there. But that wasn't the case. 16-3. Third quarter starts. 49ers get balls. They drive down the field, score a touchdown, and at like 23-3. And at this point, I'm like, game is over. Until I look away for maybe 2 minutes. And then you send them
Facts.
into the chat is saying, "Oh my God, they may have snapped with the special teams this year. That return was a thing of poetry." I unfortunately have yet to even get to see the return because when I came back, the replays were all over commercial break. Like it was a whole new ball game when I came back, and I was like, "Damn!" But I am happy to see that, like, yeah, special teams is key because like this is and they ended up losing, but like that is a momentum changer. It's like that's a free seven right there.
Yeah, I look at this game as the 49ers were up in the first half, but I don't think it was because of good offense. I think they, like you said, they drove down and they were kicking the field goals. And the touchdown they did score was like a Devo, like 77 yarder. They caught the safety goes for the interception instead of the tackle. And Devo breaks that bitch up because it's Devo, takes that bitch to the house. And then when they come out and when they go into halftime, the Seahawks are driving. And the Seahawks, like DK, he's wearing a 9.5 instead of a size 11. That's a touchdown. But he had like half a foot out. So instead of the touchdown, they kicked the field goal. And the 49ers get the ball back. They come in, score with George Kittle. But the momentum changes completely when Shelner Jr. gets that runs back the kick. And that's what changed the game, I felt like. And I thought the 49ers were about to blow another one because it went from what was the score? 20,
Went from
23
23
to
to 3 to 23-17 in a matter of like
yeah. And I thought they were about to blow it. I'm not gonna lie to you because the Seahawks, I think if Gino plays a better game and they make that tackle on Devo Samuel, the momentum in the fourth quarter changes a lot.
yeah. Someone said that like if DK like when it comes to almost scoring fantasy points, nobody is better than DK Metcalf. I was like, God, I was like, God damn, that's so true though. Because like I swear every year there's so many like almost touchdowns or like so many like almost big plays that just didn't happen.
Facts. And they did their thing. Like, I'm low key not mad. I just think the 49ers O line played phenomenal. I think even when the 49ers offense stalls, their O line is still balling.
I think the Seahawks played the best ball when they were better meshed. Because I'm looking at the numbers right here, like 52 passes with a total of 19 runs between your two running backs. And like
which is crazy.
Kenneth Walker, the first 3 weeks was a touchdown machine. Like, and I felt like it was more of a run based offense with play action for Gino to eat with his wide receivers, and that's why they were 3-0 cooking on offense. And then the week before, Gino gets sacked 7 times against the Giants, as you brought up.
Facts.
They passed the ball about 40 something times that game as well. I just think this is a game, like a team where, like, when you're passing the ball 40, 50 times, you're telling the defense what you're doing. Like, their pass rushers every down can go 120% at the quarterback. They don't have to worry about the run. Your O line is getting exhausted because instead of them being able to run forward and push motherfuckers like they want to, they have to fucking take steps back and get hit and have to just protect your quarterback. Like, they get exhausted after 52 fucking pass block attempts. Like, I just think this, like, you're not winning a lot of the games throwing 52 times. And Seahawks 3-2 though, they're another team where I feel like they're similar in the Steelers. I didn't think they were going to be a 3-0 team when they were 3-0. So the fact that they're 3-2, they're kind of right where they want to be. It's the ball's in their hands right now. Like, you're not out of it. You're actually way better than what most people thought you would be right now. So you kind of fix your shit and you might be able to win. Their defense needs to play a little bit better. They need to get the running game going a lot more. And all
Yeah,
these almost plays start turning into actually 7 points. They could be good.
facts, facts. And they need to motherfucking win the games they're supposed to win. Like, do not give up a field goal block to the Giants. And then motherfucking, because you're playing well against teams like the Seahawks and against teams like the 49ers and the Lions.
They're both 3-3 right now, this 49ers. That's what, like, similar to my take with the Cowboys Steelers. Like, the Seahawks 3-3, they're feeling good about that. The 49ers 3-3, it's like a fire underneath them. Like, yo, we should not be losing games. Like, what the fuck is wrong with our team right now? Like this is like, it's just two different feelings in that locker room.
And one thing I also learned is that one thing about Kyle Shanahan is they gonna fucking figure out how to run that ball. Because when Jordan Mason got hurt in the second quarter, that also that also meant a lot. Made a difference. But when dude on number 31 broke for that big ass run, and then Yusuf scored the touchdown, I was just like, oh shit, they
Isaac
gonna run
Guerrero.
this ball.
I think it was like Isaac Guerrero or something, the backup running back. He also had like 90 something yards.
But that shit was clean on George Kittle. I think it was the second touchdown. Him and Yusuf, they went to their wives, and they like did the little Lambo leap type shit.
Kittle's low key having a good season. Like, I feel like no one's really talking about him in the tight ends right now. He's kind of being the forgotten guy.
He's one of the few that give consistent production.
But I know for this is gonna be, if y'all are watching this with us, we appreciate you. Again, this is a crazy week. Hurricane Milton messing up the schedule for things. We're still gonna have the UFC recap coming later this week. Still gonna have the NFL picks coming up tomorrow. Come in live. Probably around like what, like 9, 10 in the morning. What time in the morning you feeling?
We'll see. But low key, Kittle's tied for first in touchdowns. He has 5, but he also has one more game than everybody.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Thursday night. Yeah. That, like, cause I have him in one fantasy, and I remember drafting him. And I was like, damn, like Kelsey's not on the board. Kincaid, like all the Pitts is not on the board. Like all the other guys on the board. Like, I guess I'll get Kelsey, not him, Kittle, and I was sending like he only ever had like one good game. Like he'll go like no point, no point, no point, and then one game with like 4 touchdowns and like have his like. But this is the year he's consistently giving you production. But we appreciate everybody for watching Late Night Live with the NFL recap. We'll be back tomorrow with the NFL picks. We'll be back later this week with the fucking recap for the UFC 307, which was a fucking eater if y'all was watching it. But as always, go down, like, subscribe, comment, or if you've been commenting along with us, sorry, but we're not paying attention. It's late as fuck right now. But I'm Paul Pickle with Concha, joined with Kevin, Waterboy Savoy. This is the Week 5 recap, Thursday Night Football, Week 6 recap. And if y'all didn't know,